Good Friday evening and happy Saturday morning to you, T.
Good morning, good evening, good morning, evening. How are you
Whatever
doing?
time it is for you guys watching in the live chat here. Thanks for being patient with us while we worked out some audio stuff. Hey, T. It's good to finally meet you.
Hey. Yeah, you too, mate. Lovely to meet you. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
I'm really glad that we could arrange it. I mean, the time difference is a little bit tricky for us,
Yeah.
but we got it all worked out.
Yeah.
So I think the reason I wanted to bring you on and have a chat and kind of share your story is, I found your channel. Obviously, you've been in the chats a lot and looked at some of your content, and I found it really, really, really informative. I found it really, it's kind, it's open, it's honest, and I guess I just wanted to find out like who you are, what the heck you're doing here, and like why are you in this? I don't want to use the word fight, but I wanted to use, like, why are you in this
Movement?
proactive action towards informing and exposing what Scientology really is? Like, what is it that drives you in this community?
I guess that having been through a lot of trauma myself, every decade of my life,
Mhm.
um, reading and watching people's stories that have also been through trauma, I can resonate with it. And I guess through the worst times of my life, I was in a very abusive relationship at the age of 17 with a man that was 10 years older than me. And I was isolated. I was cut off any
Mm.
communication. I was conditioned. I went through the whole Stockholm syndrome stuff. And no one was there for me and no one understood why I stayed. And I feel that I don't want to sound like what's the word, arrogant or anything, but no one was there for me. And I believe that, when we die, I want to try and leave a footprint on the world. I, try and
Mm.
teach my son just to be a kind person, and try and one of the reasons I say that is because when my son was younger, he said, "Oh, mum, the world's a horrible place." And I said, "No, no, no, it's not. The media focuses on all this negative stuff." And I think that now I'm losing my train of thought. Sorry. We
That's
just
okay.
we just need to. I don't know. I just resonate with it. I want to spread the word, and I believe that sort of taking Scientology down or implementing, legislation and stuff that can possibly stop the abuse. I believe it's achievable. You know.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, that's why I do what I do. I hope that was a good explanation. Sometimes I'm not the
No,
best at words.
no, it's all good. I really appreciate that. I think what I got from that is that you've been through a lot, you've experienced things, and you want to use that experience to make some sort of impact and help someone,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
which is
But
great.
just yeah, stop people joining, or at least give them an informed choice, and to let them know what they're getting themselves into. For example, I've actually connected with three young people, so two 16-year-olds and an 18-year-old
Oh,
recently, and spoken to them. They've been advertising Scientology and saying, "Oh, please feel free to DM me and ask me anything you want." So I have, and I think it's very important not to attack these people, but to ask questions in a way that, do you know what I mean, that's non-confrontational, that they
yeah.
can kind of planting a seed, I guess, where they think, "Oh, hang on a minute," and most of the time they start off really defensive and defending Scientology and saying, "Oh, well, it really helped me," and but two of them have come back to me and said, "I'm scared to leave," you know
Yeah. Hmm.
I put one of them in touch with the Aftermath Foundation, who do amazing work.
Yeah, I
Um,
do.
yeah, and unfortunately, I think they've just sort of got too scared, but they know the help is there now, and you never know what can happen in the future. Hopefully, they'll be able to reach out, and that's one of the things I worry about the most. Obviously, is the children, and what can you do when they're a teenager? and they don't have anywhere to go because they don't know their family that aren't in Scientology, or all their family are in Scientology, and they're at that vulnerable age. I don't know what to do to help. So that's the one thing I'm really struggling with at the moment, because I left home at 15, you know, and yeah, I just wish there was more I could do with that. So
The
I really need
feeling
to
of
have
helplessness of being able to effectively and like know that you're making a difference in someone, you know, when you're talking to someone in a cult, that's probably the most challenging thing because you don't know, you know,
yeah,
but I would agree with you. Now, I will freely admit, and this is one thing I kind of regret in my some of my protesting, is when I was engaging in the protesting, particularly around my own home org, I got a little bit emotional, and I allowed that to kind of change the way that my behavior was. That wasn't really true to how I was feeling, you know, or should have acted. And so, in the time that I've taken off, I've really reflected and, you know, the way that I feel is the most effective for me, at least, to communicate is with kindness, offering the opportunity that if they need help, I'm there. Um, Not acting like an asshole, not confronting their beliefs, but just saying, hey, you know, like give some thought to that. Because particularly with someone who's a ex Scientologist myself,
yeah,
I was in their position, and
yeah,
I know that I personally would not have responded well to someone just saying it's a cult and blah 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 blah
yeah,
blah, right? Like all that stuff. Whereas I would have, you know, definitely responded better if someone said, "Well, hey, if the um, trying to think of the if it's true for you, then it's true for you kind of thing." You know, the LRH policies
yeah,
where you're allowed to think for yourself and you can question things. If that was really true, then why is it you can't actually say anything? That kind of stuff, right? So things that encourage dialogue versus
yeah,
just shut it down. And that's what I
yeah.
appreciate about your approach and your videos. And we're gonna show a couple of your videos here. A clip of one, and then a really cool, well researched video that point out the discrepancies in Scientology. This guy, anyway, you'll see.
I just want to say though, Jeff, before you do that,
Yeah,
that, you know, I hope you're not being hard on yourself for the way that you were then,
of
because
course I
you,
am.
you know, yeah, but you're saying that it wasn't how you, I can't remember the words you used, but it wasn't how you felt or whatever. But I think, you know, you were triggered, and you would have a lot of anger, I expect,
Mhm.
towards Scientology at that point, and hurt, and you know, your whole life, you know, um has been affected by it, and it's natural, it's human emotion, it's you know, okay in a way to do that, and we learn from our mistakes and stuff. So you know, the first time I went to protest at Melbourne org, and I organized a protest, and we got about 19 people. It was amazing, and I saw people driving in and out with their kids, and I was so angry, and I was
Mhm.
screaming at them, like, "You're abusing your kids!" And then I just had to I cried, and I had to take a step back and say, "What are you doing? This is not. You're looking like a psycho, you know. You
Yeah,
live to the label of SP, and you're just gonna, you know, scare them away more." So, but you know, it's natural, it's normal to do that. So don't beat yourself up about it, you know?
I will
Uh,
definitely try not to. You know, I regret a lot of things in my life that I did. Maybe regret's the wrong word. I would have done things differently had I known better back then.
and we all, though, we
Um,
all, you know,
yeah,
hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? You know, so,
yeah,
um,
and
yeah,
but you know, I knew I was wrong then at sometimes too. But regardless, it doesn't matter because you know all you can do is work on your future, work on yourself now, so you have a better future and you're a nicer person.
yeah.
Um, so,
And you're
but
not an
I
ass.
appreciate your words. Thank you.
Yeah, you recognized it, so that means you're not an asshole. Because if
Exactly.
you're,
Well, I'm not a narcissist anyway.
yeah, yeah. All right. Anyway, I'll shush
um,
now. I do talk a lot.
No, it's okay. Talk all you want, because I am not usually super talkative, which is why I tend not to do lives by myself, because I'm just like, what do I say? I'd much
Yeah.
rather have someone awesome to talk to.
Yeah.
Um, so I do have a couple comments here I'm going to bring up, and then we're going to get into your video here. Hello to Gabe, who says, Jeff, you really weren't being an asshole. You were decent 99% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Gabe. Lovely to see you there.
Yeah, and I tried. Um, so I'm going to let you set us up here, because I wasn't there and you were there with someone else who I don't know who it
Yeah.
is. So I apologize if I should. I don't know who it is, but
No.
you and your friend were in this market, and you just happened to run across a drug-free world booth,
Well,
or
but I found out from somewhere that I can't disclose.
okay. So
But I
by
that
some
because
random happenstance, you ended up finding out these people were there, and
it's such a coincidence, you know. Um, yeah, so I was with my friend Linda, and Linda actually had a channel before me, and her channel is the Scientology Watcher, all one word. If you want to sub to her, but she doesn't go on anymore. And my first kind of thing that I did when I decided to join the movement and everything, when I decided to start filming, was I met up with her at Perth Org, so my local org. She's another Perthie, and she went in. There was a drug-free world event there where they had like a bouncy castle and, you know, encouraging families to go there and stuff. And I was like, this is perfect, right? Because we can get inside the church. But I didn't want to blow my cover, so I disguised myself and I put on a Scottish accent and I called myself Sheena.
hi, my name is Sheena.
Well, Sheena is my evil stepmother. So she got put on the mailing.
Oh no.
No, she's not a nice lady. But anyway, that's who Linda is. And she was with me, and she's the one that's asking all the great questions, because I'm kind of like, you know, I get really nervous, where she doesn't care. She's like brazen. She's like, right, you know, let's go and do this. You know, she's brilliant. So yeah, I didn't want to go on my own. I knew they were going to be there, and I knew she would be perfect and she'd be up for it, you know. So yeah, she came along with me.
It's good to have a tag team partner. It's scary going in alone. Like, you just, not that anything is going to really happen to you, but you know, it's good to have the backup, the moral support. So
Yeah, there's no one here. There's no one here except for Linda. I advertise all the time, and so I have to do a lot of stuff on my own, which is kind of, it is scary. But if you're doing it live and you're filming on your phone, then it's kind of like having people with you, because they're, you know, but it's a
yeah,
bit.
it's hard to hide the fact that you're filming live,
Yeah.
right? So it's the reason I like more surreptitious recordings, let's say, um, is because they talk more. And, you know, that's like when I went into the Seattle org, and I literally had a GoPro on my backpack, and I was like walking around with my backpack and it was just filming all the time. Um, and so I got
Yeah.
a lot of really good content out of that, because they weren't suspicious of me. They thought I was just a normal person. But you know, the guy, much like we're going to see in a clip later, where he's talking about 9/11 and their involvement. It's just like they just go off on this, and it's just so random. Anyway, I
Yeah.
like listening to Scientologists talk, and
Yes.
it's the reason I like listening to it is the same reason that Dave Miscavige doesn't want Scientologists to talk, is because they always put their foot in their mouth, and they say something dumb or something that's you can easily fact check, which of course you did. So,
And they slip up. They slip up and reveal things that they're not meant to be doing.
yeah, like this guy here actually, and I'll leave a link to this video specifically in the description. I have a link to your channel, but not this video. But he starts talking about Narcanon. He tells tells you the uh, purification rundown. Plus, he starts describing the objectives processing, which is where he's like touching a table, and
Yeah.
you think you're touching a table from another time. And then eventually you realize you're in present time. And it's like, are you kidding me? Why are you describing this to a person who's in a drug-free world booth? Right.
I actually said to him, "Oh, present time," like that. But I don't know if he heard me or he clicked, or, because I was just trying to, I don't know, have some fun.
Anyway, it was a really good encounter and I really appreciated it. So I'm just going to play this entire clip. It's about 2 minutes long, and then we'll break it down.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully you guys can hear it. It should be good. And we'll be right back after the clip.
Yeah.
It's just getting the person to be in the here and now, and touches the table. At first he may think he's still touching something in the past, but then he goes to that one, to this one, to that one, to this one, and he goes, "Oh, something happened. Oh, I'm now touching that table." It's not very complicated. It's so simple that it's really hard to say any more than it's just that.
So it definitely sounds like a different approach.
So where do you get your funding from?
Well,
if you're not non-profit
people like myself and these people here, we put money into these organisations to.
Like, do you get government grants?
No, we don't.
hard to get those, isn't it? Yeah.
No, this is all funded from just ourselves. That we put money into it to.
Yeah, that's
to
nice.
make it
That's really
happen.
nice of you.
We have got companies that are backing us and giving us money.
Oh, what companies are they?
I'm not too sure exactly, but there is some companies that are giving a certain amount of money, not a lot. And in America, there's actually quite big, quite a lot.
Did it start in America then, like it was founded?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's kind of spread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Believe it or not, we follow America.
Yeah.
We don't like to admit it.
And where are you based in Perth?
Where are we based? Where's our depot?
Well, that's in Spanish. Is that Spanish?
Yeah, put it on there.
And so there we go. That was the clip I wanted to show. I think there's so much to break down there.
Yeah, right.
So let's jump really quickly to the funding part of it.
Yeah.
So he says, no, we don't get government grants. And you're like in the captions, like, yes, they do. So tell us about that, because.
Okay. So after doing a bit of digging, this makes me so cross. I found that the drug-free world in Melbourne, so in the state of Victoria, got a government grant for $40,000 to purchase a van, right? So they got a drug-free, all wrapped with the drug-free world stuff, and it's a camper van, and their members, the drug-free world ambassador or whatever, is having a lovely jolly driving around the whole of Australia, going into outback towns and putting the leaflets into police stations and schools and all of this. Wow. And I just thought, God. Then they got another grant for, it must be at least 10 grand to get their volunteer minister van wrapped as well. So, and they're the only two
volunteer minister van.
Yeah, so they got a big yellow van and they got it all done up and everything. And they're just the two that I found by doing a lot of digging. I won't reveal how because they're probably watching this, but
they don't care about me.
Yeah, they watch me. I know they do.
Okay, well there you go.
If I'm the kind of like one of the only, there's only kind of me. There's Afila who's in the chat at the moment, and D5 is another new channel that's come up. She's in Melbourne. Afila's in Afila, sorry, I always get her name wrong. Is in Sydney. We're the only ones in the whole of Australia, speaking about it. So it's makes us kind of easy targets, really. So they do watch our stuff. But yeah, the funding, that's what's going on with that. So, but I don't know if he must be aware of that. He must be aware of the grants. Because
not necessarily. No. So this guy, and just speaking from my own experience, doing this kind of stuff as a Scientologist. This guy is just a public, especially with the
Okay.
drug-free world. They don't tend to send a lot of staff members to that. It tends to be public that are, it'll be like arranged at the market by staff or by the org. But they won't usually send staff to do it unless there's just nobody else that can go. Maybe
Yeah. I mean,
no one in Division 6 who's in charge of this kind of thing, or used to talking with public might. But yeah, it's usually volunteer run. So he might actually not know. And he's probably just an old dude, an old Scientologist who is just basically useless otherwise. Right? Like it sounds really harsh to say, but there are people in Scientology who are not paying money towards their bridge. They're not on staff. Maybe they're not qualified or whatever. And they're just kind of useless hanger-oners. And they just get given these like weird tasks. You know, there was tons of them in Vancouver.
yeah, there's quite a few here. You know, I'm estimating there's probably less than 100 members in Perth. I would think more like 50. I know late 90s there was 150, you know, so I'm guessing after Anonymous there'd be a lot less. They don't have Sea Org here. That was only be in Sydney pretty much. They might have a couple in Melbourne, but yeah, so and they do have a lot of people. The people that I've spoken to, the publics, have been in for like 50 years, you know. So you're right with that. And they have a couple of big donors and stuff. They have a whale. But yeah, they do get staff members to do these events. But yeah, I would have thought it's a mix of public and staff, and they do regular stalls at the weekends. So yeah.
It sounds exactly the same here. Like, you know, there's maybe like, I think when I did the LRH birthday event protest, which was a pretty big one, that would have been well attended by Scientologists. I think there was about 60 Scientologists. Yeah, maybe about 30 or so staff, maybe a bit more. And when I spoke with my friend James about how many, I actually said to him, I said, hey, imagine a scenario where L. Ron Hubbard came back to life. He's back from Target 2. I said this to him because he knows I don't care. But and all the Scientologists and all of BC were told to attend this event. How many people could you get there? Honestly. And I think he honestly answered 250.
Yeah.
And that would probably include me because I would attend that event.
Yeah. Do you still get invites or anything? Or
no, I'm definitely not on any kind of mailing list anymore. I've made that pretty clear.
Yeah.
Actually before I started speaking out. So
yeah. It's just funny because when they were opening it, because it's only been open since I think it was 2017 or 2018. The Ideal Org, I mean, they were like, oh, it's for 1,000 members, you know, and there's like 50 to 70, you know.
You know, it's funny thinking about that Ideal Org opening, because as we know in the States and also in Canada, but obviously there's only been two Ideal Orgs in Canada, but in the States, they fly public and staff to the grand opening to make it look like there's more people. That must be incredibly difficult for Australia because, I mean, you have Asia, I guess, close by. And it's, you know, there's probably a lot of public in Taiwan, but I imagine it's not super easy just to pop across over there and attend this to pump up the numbers.
I mean, the furthest you can fly, like I know they've got people over. They must have got at least, I'd say maximum. That'd be pushing it, 800 to 1,000 if they manage to get everyone. Yeah. And it's 5 hours from Sydney. Yeah, and maybe, you know, people in Taiwan. I mean, I don't know if you're aware how many buildings there are in Taiwan.
I don't know specifically. Yeah, there's 11. A lot of public there. Yeah, they 11. Really went into Taiwan.
They have 11. They have obviously the Ideal Org there, and they have 10 missions and quote unquote churches as well. you know, because Aosh Anzo is the capital for the whole of Asia, New Zealand, Australia. And I just wanted to sort of mention that I have been trying to do some work with Taiwan as well, because I like to focus on small countries that other people kind of either forget about or don't talk about or think you can't do anything about. I actually managed to get in touch with somebody who escaped Scientology 15 years ago, and I made leaflets. So they speak Japanese and I think traditional Chinese. I can't remember what they speak. Taiwanese Chinese. I'll just say that. And I made up leaflets in Japanese and the local dialects and stuff, and sent them to him, and he's been printing them out and passing them out in Taiwan as well. So, which I was just really, because you know, they are milking Taiwan. They are making millions and millions of dollars. And, you know, even just to help a few people not joining and having that, like, his life was ruined. His mental health is just, he's struggling still 15 years later, you know. He said he lost control of his body. You know, he was put in, you know, not an institution, but he was put in, like, he was what we call sectioned, you know, so like taken into the psychiatric, under the hospital.
Like an involuntary hold, or?
Yeah, I guess that, I don't know what you call it, you know, but yeah, he was taken to hospital. He was hallucinating, you know.
Wow. Do you know what he was doing at that time? Like, was he on a certain service, or?
He wasn't even doing auditing. I mean, maybe he probably had mental health issues before. I don't know. It's very hard because he doesn't speak any English. So when I'm speaking to him, I'm doing it on Messenger and I'm translating, and, you know, like, so I'm like determined to get some help over there. It's hard to tell what's what, but he didn't even really do any auditing. It was more what the staff were kind of implanting into him about being the pressure of recruiting. And so he was on staff, but like he was labeled an SP or something, and he was trying to you know, make amends or whatever, and it was just never good enough, and he just got it in his head. And then all these conspiracy theories, and yeah, it's really sad. There's a lot of stuff going on over there, which and they bring a lot of Taiwanese over to Australia as well, you know. So I don't know if you've seen my video about Alice Wu, who was put on I believe on the introspection rundown at Sydney and had a complete mental breakdown and now has to be spoon fed, you know. It's awful. It's awful. And I actually want to speak to Phil possibly to see if we can arrange a billboard in Sydney. I think that would be really helpful. I also translated the aftermath cards, you know, the free cards that you print out. I actually translated them into Mandarin and traditional Chinese, and dying to get over to Sydney. And you know, I've never been to Sydney, and most of the action is there. That's where the headquarters is. That's where all the Sea Org is. Where I know where all the Sea Org accommodation is. They have 4 buildings there. They have the big headquarters, then they have the Ideal Org, then they have the Sea Org quarters, which is a huge, like, old monastery that used to be the headquarters, and then they have a mission as well that they're trying to get Ideal. So they are trying to make, I know they're saying this in other places, but they're trying to make Australia the first Ideal continent, you know. So
good luck. Well, I tell you what, like, it's amazing to me. You know, I'm happy that this isn't happening in Canada. Like, Canada is so dead with Scientology. And I honestly think that Dave Miscavige just doesn't like Canada. I don't know why, but it's just never, ever had the real attention.
I need to ask you, I have to ask, sorry to interrupt, but one thing that I've also focused on is the empty buildings, you know, the buildings the old buildings that have been left. What is going on with Hockley Highlands Inn? Have you seen? I'm going to do a video about that, because I've got the video of where they're showing what it's going to look like when it's all done up and ideal and stuff. And it's been sitting there left to rot for, I don't know, I think more than 15 years.
In 2010, when I joined the Sea Org, at the CLO in Canada, which is supposedly going to be at the Hockley Highlands Resort. And so that was 2010, and I was given a tour of it because I think they had just purchased it or were just about to start renovating or whatever, working on it. And when I flew a drone over it, a year or so ago, it looked exactly the same. Nothing had changed with it.
You have
Huh?
footage of that? Do you have any
Oh, you
footage
never
of that?
saw that video I made? Yeah, I flew a drone
Oh, cool.
last
Get it.
April when I went out to protest the Toronto events. I brought my drone along and I hiked on a trail to the back of the building because this trail actually goes through their property. It's called the Bruce Trail. And I hiked up this embankment and then went onto their property, allegedly, and flew a drone over it and actually had to get out of there pretty quick because I think they heard it. There was a few people on the grounds.
Yeah.
And they started driving a car towards where I was.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll shoot you a link. I'm sure it's still on my channel. So
yeah, I'm planning on doing it. I've got loads of projects on the go, but one of the things I want to do is actually cover that building, just to show, you know, how much money, the millions must have been raised and milked out of the people of to, you know, to pay for that. And then it's just sitting there like, what are these people thinking? Are they not angry that it's not coming to life? Like
honestly, I was I around? I think when they actually did the event that announced the Great White North AO, you never have to go down to LA and pay American dollars, right? Because that was always a really big sticking point for Canadian Scientologists who wanted to go up the bridge past Clear, is they'd have to go down to LA or Florida to go to an AO, and the exchange rate's just absolute garbage. So it costs more, and in Canada it's not tax free. And I think that is the reason why that AO never took off and never will, because
there's not enough people.
Who wants to pay the taxes and all this? Like it's insane, right? Like it'd be so expensive. And so I just don't think there's not enough Canadian Scientologists, first of all. Like there'd be like 4 people.
Joburg, though, aren't they? Everyone's going to the Joburg, or because it's really cheap there. I don't know if it would work out to go there. Like,
Scientologists love to save money on services, that's for sure.
Well, I'm not surprised. You know.
Anyway, I mean, it's a good story. I don't, there's really not much happening with it as of last time I was there. However, I spoke with a Sea Org member outside the CLO in Canada. His name is Brad Melnichuk, and he thinks that they are starting renos, or were then. So, but you know what? That's what they've been saying for years. So, who knows? And honestly, they don't know either. They just don't know. They're just told something and they just believe it. So
and that's the thing with this guy on the video. Sorry, because we've gone off on a big tangent. The guy on this video.
Okay. That's what my channel's all about, tangents.
Oh, good. But they, they get told things and they don't look into it. There seems to be a lot of trust within, or fear of looking outside, or both, so they just believe everything that they're told. And this guy, he's saying that they don't get government grants, then they don't get government grants, But anyway, as you continue, you'll see the other stuff that he believes.
So the other video, and I don't know if I want to show this in its entirety, but it's a 5-minute video. And I think people should go look it on your channel. I think they should actually share this on social media, particularly in the United States, because this would upset a lot of people. And I think if you don't mind, I'll show the whole thing, but we can talk about it afterwards.
Please do.
It really highlights the lies that these people spread and the so easy fact checking that is available, right? Like you did such a good job in this video.
Thank you.
Of breaking down.
Sorry? It it really irked me. It really pissed me off that they take advantage of these situations, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
And
I
try and look like
remember.
heroes, you know, and just this stolen valor again, you know. It just really,
Yeah.
really, really off. Yeah.
They latch onto something and they just use it for their own need, and then they're basically a leech, right? Like,
They
or a
don't care.
parasite.
I don't know. Well, some of them. Well, the people on the ground actually probably do care. You know, the decent people.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot,
they do.
yeah, but I mean, the ones at the top,
They do
they
not
just
care. No, that's for sure. That's for sure. All right. I'm just gonna show the video, and then we'll make sure to get a link to it, and you guys should just share it because it's really well done. And I think every American, no matter what side of the aisle they're on, can get behind this. And
Thank you. I appreciate it. I think it's important.
Well, it is absolutely.
It's huge. It's a huge thing that they've done, and it needs to be. These things that, you know, although it was a long time ago, these things they need to be kept we need to keep talking about them. Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree. And especially this one in particular, like when 9/11 happened, it was a really big deal in Scientology. Like it was almost like the world is ending. We need to get going kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it always kind of bothered me even then that we're using this. Like there was a huge program that was written called A Wake Up Call, and we're using this to like further our aims. Like, it always kind of bothered me. So anyway, I'll watch the video. I hope you guys can hang out. It's 5 minutes and 44 seconds. It's got a lot of really good information, and then we'll come back after and we'll discuss it.
A couple of weeks ago, I spoke to a Scientologist at a local market. He was working their drug-free world tent and made a startling claim. According to him, Scientology had rolled out a detox program into every fire station in the United States.
We set it up at New York, where the 9/11 building disaster happened. Firemen and the police that were literally 99% of them to retire from being firemen. They had purple skin.
God.
Well, we put them through a program there, and I think we salvaged 90% of all the firemen. Might have been higher, might have been 95%. And they went back to work, and they weren't working because they were so affected by that. And now we are implementing this detoxification program every fire station in America at the moment.
Wow.
Every fire station.
Every fire
In America.
Yeah, in America. Well, I don't know how far we've got yet.
Okay, so at Ground Zero, there were around 11,000 firefighters at the time. And he reckons that their bodies had gone purple and that saunas were being installed in every fire station across the US so that crews could run the purification rundown. He was convinced this was happening. So what really happened after 9/11? Here's the real story. In the days after the attacks, Scientology sent hundreds of volunteer ministers to Ground Zero. They offered assists, promoted Hubbard's ideas, and filmed it as humanitarian aid. Many responders said the volunteers were more of a distraction than help. Inside Scientology, this outreach is part of a PR tactic called safe pointing, aligning with emergency services to gain legitimacy. From that push came the New York Rescue Workers Detoxification Project, launched in 2003 with Tom Cruise as the public face. The city of New York put in roughly $2 million, and Cruise raised several million more. 2 clinics opened, one near Ground Zero on Fulton Street and another in Williston Park. The regime followed Hubbard's purification rundown, copious amounts of niacin and staying in a sauna for up to 5 hours a day, exercise and even drinking vegetable oil. By 2007, about 838 responders had gone through the program. Media reported claims of coloured sweat, blue or purple stains on towels, supposedly showing toxins leaving the body. But the science collapsed under scrutiny. FDNY doctors said there was no evidence the protocol detoxified anyone. High-dose niacin can cause liver damage, dizziness, and dangerous blood pressure drops, while extreme sauna use risks dehydration and electrolyte imbalance. Some participants were told to stop prescribed medications, which was unsafe. The Uniformed Firefighters Association initially showed support, but later withdrew once the Scientology link and the risks became clearer. FDNY leadership never endorsed it. A small study tied to the clinic was published, but toxicologists tore it apart for a weak methodology, tiny sample size, and lack of controls. Experts called the protocol unproven, risky, and unethical to use on desperate responders. The detox clinics eventually faded away. They did not spread nationwide. They did not install saunas in every fire station. And the regimen is not recognised as valid medical care. So when that Scientologist told me about nationwide fire station detox, I realised he wasn't necessarily lying. He was repeating something he genuinely believed. In Scientology, members are discouraged from watching mainstream news and steered towards Scientology TV and church publications that repeat these success stories without scrutiny. Whether it's blind faith or conscious PR spin, the result is the same. A distorted story about 9/11 is part of a larger pattern. Scientology has a long history of showing up in disaster zones, filming their volunteer ministers in yellow shirts, and then spinning those moments into PR stories. These stories are fed back to their own members as proof that the church is saving lives. But the real purpose isn't aid, it's fundraising and recruitment. Every story becomes another reason to ask for donations, another way to justify sending more people into the field, and another attempt to attach Scientology's name to real tragedies. Oh, and by the way, the program wasn't free. The firefighters had to pay about $5,200 each, with much of the funding covered by donations from Scientology members. The church denied any connection, but once their involvement was exposed, the project quickly lost support. But the damage was done. Quite a few firefighters actually joined Scientology, and some of them even disconnected from their families, and Scientology made millions of dollars out of it. And the amount of people they apparently detoxified? Around 8%. Not 90% as previously claimed by the man on the stall, who also claimed to have absolutely nothing to do with Scientology. Oh, and another thing. Did you know that Scientology and their front group, CCHR, actually blame psychiatry for 9/11? To find out more about that...
So there you go. And I tell you what, I'll say it again. That was really well done, really well researched, factual, interesting. It's
I was
okay.
trying to sort my thing. So I can now, I'm hands-free now. I was holding my phone the whole time and my arms were starting to ache. So
I figured that might have happened, but that's all right. So
yeah.
it's funny, like when I'm watching your video, I hadn't really thought back on it, but I had no idea, because I was in Scientology at the time when this was all happening. I had no idea that we as Scientologists were paying for them, the firefighters, to do the Purif, which makes no sense. Like,
Well, I mean, yeah, some of them got it paid for, but a lot of them paid for it themselves, you know. I did so much digging for that video. I mean, I go on multiple sources, multiple platforms, the Wayback Machine, and I'll go through conversations on old message boards and everything to really try and get the details and make sure that everything I say is as accurate as possible. And the conversations about people whose husbands were firefighters and they ended up joining Scientology and leaving their family and stuff like that, you know. So they did recruit quite a few firefighters as well. So there's that too, you know. But a lot of the firefighters did pay for it out of pocket themselves as well.
wow, that boggles my mind, because you had, I mean, we were told Tom Cruise was behind it. He's certainly got enough money just to do it. He could just hire people, and the staff aren't being paid anyway. The people who are running this thing aren't being paid, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a big fucking sham. You know,
Yeah.
you got the rapist, convicted rapist, Danny Masterson behind it as well. Catherine Bell, Michael Pena, they're all behind this.
Yeah. Well, the
It's
pictures,
brutal.
they had a big ado in New York, and there was who was there? There was loads of celebrities there. Usher was there. There was what's her name? The one that does the I don't know, but there was photos that flash up showing some of the celebrities in that video. Lots of celebrities involved. I believe that Tom paid for both of the detoxification centers that were in New York. They're not there anymore.
Yeah.
So he paid for that. But when you I actually worked out how much Scientology made out of that, and it was around, oh God, was it 2 million or 4 million? They made millions out of it anyway, you know.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
So it's the money, the publicity, and recruitment. It's not about saving the planet, you know. And this guy's still saying, the way that my friend said in the video, in every town in America.
Yeah,
like that.
All of them. Really? I know, that boggled my mind. I'm like, how can he even believe that? But you know, he's probably remembering the event where Dave Miscavige said, and we're going to do this in every city in America, or some firefighter who got benefit out of it said that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a mayor or something.
And like, the rumor, you know, the rumors within Scientology.
All of them. Did you hear?
Yeah, it snowballs and gets exaggerated over the years. I mean, it was a long time ago, and yeah, I've watched a lot of the speeches and things like that. I was going to cut bits out of that and say, well, this was from there, and I just thought, like, I get a bit geeky with it, and I don't want people to, you know, be like, okay.
You did a good job. I liked it. It was engaging to me, and I think it will be engaging to everyone else too, when every single person watching this video shares it. Just put it on social media. Like, you know, this is a dream of mine. If anyone knows how to get a hold of Jon Stewart, I 100% love to have a conversation with that guy and see what he thinks, because he's a huge proponent. Sorry?
Who's Jon Stewart?
Jon Stewart is a New Yorker. He's the host of a show called The Daily Show. Okay. He's a comedian. He is extremely passionate about 9/11, helping the firefighters. Like, this guy has performed scathing monologues about people who take advantage of it or giving these guys help. Like, he has been really, really big for the cause. And
okay,
if he was able to, like, watch the videos of how Scientology is, like, in current day, because it happened to me, it's happened to you, in current day, using 9/11 as something that they helped out in, like, he would lose his absolute mind. I just don't think it goes out to him. But yeah, if anybody can get me in touch with Jon Stewart, I will try, man. It's a dream. I would love to have a conversation with him. Yeah, he's a pretty big hero of mine as far as his views and the way he.
I've never heard of it.
Performs.
I've never heard Stewart with a W.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I will look into that and see. I mean, even if he's on Twitter, and because I do like all of my short videos like that, I'll share it on Facebook, on X, on Instagram, and on TikTok as well. So I get it out to as many platforms as I can. Maybe if he's on Twitter, most people are. I don't know.
He probably is.
Yeah.
Or his publicist might be. But anyway.
Yeah. I'll send him my video then and see if he responds, and then try and set him up with you. Yay!
That'd be cool. Well, or you could talk to him too. Well, though you don't know who he is, but
well, I would probably just. You've got to have it, haven't you? I wouldn't do that.
I would probably just faint if I started talking to him anyway. So what did I want to bring up in regards to that video? The absurdity of it.
Yeah.
Just like, so there's obviously more this guy talks about and reveals to you. The fascinating thing is they don't know how many narcanons are in the country. Right? You guys are like, oh, we have one here. No, we don't. We have one here. It's like, what are you? How do
We've just opened one in Queensland. They haven't. No, they haven't. He didn't know where the narcanons were and how many. He didn't know where they're based. How can you not know where you're based? Or he does know. He's just not. He's not saying it's Scientology. They would not. I didn't mention Scientology. So they're not revealing that they're Scientology. And the funny thing is when they had this event on in Perth Org and I went in undercover, Linda was outside and she had a confrontation with a few publics that were outside. And she was going, well, you're a Scientology front group like that. And they went, no, we're not. And it's like, you're staffed by Scientology, you're funded by Scientology, and you're having your event in a Scientology building.
Nothing to do with them. Nothing.
Nothing to do with it, you know.
I know. It boggles my mind because especially when they say with like CCHR where they are partnered or funded by, you know, co-founded, I think is the wording that they use. Like, no, it's Scientology. If you write CCHR a letter, it goes to the Hubbard Guarantee Building on Hollywood Boulevard because it is Scientology. Full stop. Right. And I hate how they hide behind this stuff. They don't deal with every front group, but the goal of every front group is just PR and recruitment. That's what it's for. You know, the people on the ground, yes, they probably do want to help, but I'm talking like on a bigger scale. That's the purpose of it, right? So I'm surprised that he hid the Scientology connection.
Yeah, and then when I kind of pushed about the Narcanon, because I know for a fact that there are not any Narcanons in Australia, and there hasn't been since I think it was around 2017. They got shut down. They just keep getting shut down. People protest against them, they get shut down. Going back to just jumping back to when I went inside the org, I spoke to so on the day of the Drug Free World event, I went inside. I had a good chat because I had my whole character and story and everything. And the story was that my nephew is a heroin addict and I'm looking for help for him. And I was trying to get that connection between Drug Free World and Narcanon. And she was talking all about Narcanon, this staff member. She's now the head of the Drug Free World for Western Australia. And she found Scientology. What I'm gathering is she found Scientology because of her drug addiction, and they've saved her life and all of this, you know. And she ended up getting, because she was in Sydney, so I don't know if they didn't have the purification rundown, but she got sent to New Zealand to do the purification rundown at the church there. And she told me that, because I was like, oh, what's the success rate? And she said 99%. was it 97? No, 98%, because you got the 2% that are, isn't it the 2%?
2.5%.
2.5%, yeah.
2.5%. 20% are PTS. 2.5% are truly depressive.
Yeah.
Get your stats right, okay?
Yeah. I'm trying. I'm a never in. I think I'll do pretty all right for being a never in.
You're doing great. You know a lot more than the Scientologists do, that's for sure.
I get asked a lot if I'm an ex-Scientologist, you know, because but it's my ADHD hyperfocus. I know everything. I have to know everything, you know. Not just from hello.
That's fun.
Not just what people tell me. I have to find out for myself, you know, from multiple sources. But it's really sad. And then I went into a lecture, the Drug Free World lecture, and I sat there and I was like trying to record, because I've got secret cameras and stuff. And then I accidentally must have pressed live, and they pulled me out of the lecture and said, somebody from security wants to speak to you on the phone. And it was Osa phoning from Sydney. And it was like he was trying to intimidate me over the phone. And do you know the law? And I'm like, in regards to what? You know, because he actually, I don't understand this. Maybe you might be able to tell me, right? So I accidentally clicked live on YouTube, right? But he was saying on the phone, he was saying that I was live on TikTok. And at that point, I'd never been live on TikTok. And he was playing my TikTok video. He was playing my TikTok video down the phone to me. And he's going, yeah, there's somebody and she sounds just like you. And she's wearing a captain's hat. I lost it. I just pissed myself laughing, because I used to wear a captain's hat when I first came to the movement.
I remember that.
I was called Perth Scientology Audit. And then I just thought, like, is this effective? Is this going to do anything? Or are they just going to think, look, there's this idiot taking the piss out of us? I wanted to be more serious. I wanted to, you know, I really want to make a difference. So I ditched the whole captain's hat, and I've, you know, got a bit of a better, more diverse name, so I can cover other places in Australia and other topics, other cults and stuff. But my main focus is Scientology. So yeah, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. But it's weird that he said TikTok when it wasn't TikTok. It was YouTube. Like, was he trying to trip me up somehow, or?
Well,
Maybe
he
he
might
was
have just been. Was he older?
Oh, he sounded like maybe our age. I don't know.
Well, then if it was my age, then probably
He tried to
just
trick
a
me.
boomer.
I don't know. Maybe he was like trying to get me to go, no, it was YouTube actually. Like, so then
Oh,
I'm admitting.
maybe.
I don't know. But anyway, they phoned the police. So I did a runner and went down the pub.
So what are the recording laws in Australia then? Because in Canada, it's one party consent.
Yeah, you're not allowed to record in there, and they have a sign outside the door that you're not allowed to record. But the reason I was recording on my phone because there was another girl in there recording and taking photos. So that was my sort of excuse. You know, I said, well, that girl's doing it. So sorry, I thought it was all right, you know?
Yeah. I think I remember that video. I think I watched that video of you doing that.
I don't think I've posted up clips of it, but I haven't posted the full video.
Yeah.
Because I'm worried about getting into trouble, I guess. But
yeah.
Are they going to
Anyway.
waste money doing me for that? I don't know. So I've got it in my YouTube studio, and I'm like, do I put it up or not? I also went undercover in Narconon.
I wouldn't give them any kind of ammo. You know, I would the best thing to do to deal with OSA is obey the law. I mean,
oh yeah,
then they can't get you, right?
Yeah. And I went undercover in Narconon, and they took that one down, and I went undercover in London because I didn't know at that point that that's public and you're allowed to film in London, you know, so that one hasn't been complained about. So yeah.
So they're really watching you then, hey?
I think so. Yeah, they are. They must be. Yeah.
It's funny because like I don't know how they pick and choose who to deal with. I've never had any kind of indication other than the fact that I know the org knows what I'm doing and has watched my videos. I have had no indication of anything OSA related. Maybe they're just better, or maybe the laws are pretty strict on like private eye stuff in Canada. I just never had the indication.
There's never been, you know, they've just done like privacy strikes on the Narconon video. They, as far as I know, they don't know my name. They don't know where I live. You know, I keep pretty safe with that. I've never been followed. I've had like weird emails and stuff, but you know.
Oh, I get lots of weird emails, but
I think I do.
No, I just I've never had a privacy strike, even with the stuff that I've like gone into orgs and recorded. Never. Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe they just don't care about me. It's a Canadian thing, probably.
Maybe they're worried.
They don't have the staff.
Maybe they think you're going to reveal some of their secrets and get them in trouble. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I think I've revealed all at this point, but
yeah. But I love the stuff. I really appreciate the stuff that you and Andrea have done in the drug-free world stuff. You know, like the letter so there is a letter available, everyone, that can be edited to your region or whatever, that you can send to companies or places that have had any involvement with drug-free world. You know, and I think it's a really great resource. I believe, I don't know, is it on fsciento.space? Because they have a resources link. Okay, well, because I've been sent it. So do you mind if I add that to the resources page on fsciento.space, which is, you know, obviously where they show all the different streamers from around the world? I'm not sure if you're on it. Are you on there?
I might be. I don't know. I don't, to be honest, I don't pay attention to a lot of the periphery. I just kind of do my own thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Fair enough. I've made a lot of things as well that are on there. So I'll just show you. Hang on. Sorry.
That's okay.
Just things to hand out. So non-confrontational things and things having a laugh, depending on your preference, you know. But I've got obviously the very important thing is the bite model. So just to kind of you know, hand that out at protest just to plant seeds, maybe. I've got, I don't have a copy of my booklet. I made, damn it, it's not here. I remade, I did a parody of this leaflet, but it's called The Truth About Cults. And I've done all the pages. It gives all these facts about cults and what makes a cult a cult. Why do people join? The bite model's in there. And then on the back, there's all like the foundations and stuff like that. And then I've made this one, which is a non-confrontational one. This is meant to plant seeds. So like, have you ever wondered? A personal message for thinking Scientologists who care deeply about the truth. And it's got, you know, it says about what safe pointing is, where the money goes, you know, things.
Do you have a digital copy of that?
Yeah, it's all on fsciento.space. If
Okay.
you go on, if you go on, so you go fsciento.space, you click on resources and you scroll down, it will say something like T's folder, and all of the stuff that I've made is in there. You know, studies that haven't been told inside, a quiet invitation to look for yourself, and then just like some channels and stuff on the back there. I'm also, I don't know if you know, are you aware of Cosrecki?
Yes.
Yeah, so the Church of Scientology, let me get this right, Religious Education Incorporated, right? So
yeah,
all of Scientology's operations in the UK actually run out of Australia. So there has been a few attempts to have that investigated before, and it's kind of been kind of poo-pooed and kind of like they've worked around it. But there were a couple of people from a couple of parties, political parties here, that pushed for it again in 2019 for a parliamentary inquiry. And so I'm following up on that, and I've started a petition as well. So I will add all these things to the description of the live on my channel as well. But I've got a petition that you can sign to Parliament to try and like basically what I'm trying to put together. But I have severe ADHD and I get like squirrel a lot. And but eventually is to compile a complete report of all of the things that they are violating, all of these things. Like that guy on the market stall was telling me, or the other one that was with him was saying, they refer people to Narconon. Then I said that there is no Narconon, and they said, well, we have individual Narconon agents, right?
Yeah.
And then those agents, I believe, well, I've been told by one person in a particular org, you know, like an under the radar, I'm not going to say which org, that they bring people into the Purif, right?
Yep.
That's not okay. And that's not a religious ritual or whatever it is they call the purification rundown. I found an old court case where they are saying that basically, the Purif is okay because it's a religious experience. It's not a rehab or whatever. But if they're bringing people in from their drug-free wild stall, that's not okay. So all of these things, the Cosrecki, things like that, the fact that they have a 9-year-old child running the Purif at one of their orgs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a 9-year-old child running a drug rehab. That's not okay. You know? So I
agree.
Completely.
Completely.
Yeah. Who wouldn't, well, apart from
this. But it happens all the time in Scientology. They say it doesn't, but they do. Maybe they don't let them join Sea Org now, but they will put them on staff. They will put them to work. They will give them very important jobs that they just have no business doing. They're kids. They're not, and one thing that's problematic, or that has been in the past, is they don't have CPR training, first aid training. Like none of this is required to become a Purif IC or in charge. Yeah. And most of them didn't have it, if any, that I was aware of.
And this is multiple sources that I've had this information about a 9-year-old child doing this. So that's not okay, obviously. And all of this stuff will be put together in a report to send to the ACNC, so the Charities Commission here, to see if an investigation or something to get them to lose their charitable status would be amazing, obviously. But not only that, it would affect the UK too.
They wouldn't like you for that.
I know, but
I tell you what, though,
nothing they can take.
Australian government does not like Scientology, so, or at least traditionally
I,
hasn't in the past.
yeah, I believe that they've infiltrated Labour. That's my
Mm,
theory. There are a few of them in the government. Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, especially in New South Wales. But yeah, that's my goal. Yeah. And I've got a few other
You're,
things I don't want to talk about. I can't talk about.
of course,
There's other
you are
things behind.
confronting and exposing Scientology in Australia and being a voice down under, which is great.
And you know
It
how
all
that name,
ties together.
it's that I feel like really arrogant having that name. So I try to make it like a collective, like other Aussies come and be a voice down under. But the
Yeah.
reason name came about is Windy City Theatre Watch. He said it. He said, "Well, you're a voice down under, aren't you?" And I'm like, "You go like you're the voice down under," and I'm like, "Oh, that's a catchy name." So I ended
It
up
is.
using for a name. Yeah. So, but I do what I can. But I have taken a step back because I have a lot going on in my personal life. You know, I'm a busy working mum, and yeah. But I do my best.
Yeah, that's something I learned this year too. You got to take a step back and focus
Yeah.
on you. And unfortunately, Scientology will be there when you're ready to pick up the fight again. So.
Yeah.
I did have a few pinned questions. Do you want to? Do you have
Yeah,
time
there's
to
a
go
few.
over them?
I've got all the time in the world. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Okay.
Can I say hello to a few people because there's a few of my crew here. We've got
Yeah,
Ophelia.
give her.
Joe was on earlier. Thank you so much, Joe, for modding for me. Ophelia is based in Sydney. She is amazing. She actually interviewed. There's a musical, a comedy musical touring around Australia, and oh gosh, what's it called? But it's taking the piss out of Scientology. What's it called?
Oh, is it that? Oh shoot, I forget her name. Is it hold these, squeeze these cans?
No, it's not. It's four blokes.
Oh.
God, it's completely gone out of my head. Yeah, fsciento.space. Sorry. We've got Mad Drop Bear, he's in Melbourne. He's great. We've got Frio Neverin, who's in Perth. Frio, it was the Vic Market. Sorry. Anyway, I'll stop scrolling because I'm gonna read out the ones that you've pinned probably. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to watch out for those drop bears, though. You gotta.
I know.
I've been told.
Yes.
If I ever go to Australia, watch out for drop bears.
Yes. Take a jar of Vegemite with you.
Gnome Sane, is that what it says? Gnome Sane?
I think so, yeah.
Question: with bushfire season approaching, do you expect to see volunteer ministers appearing at any evacuation centers?
I haven't come across any bushfire VMs. They're probably too scared, but I've come across ones for the floods because there's a lot of floods over east, and there's been a couple of those, and there is a lie that I still need to do Scientology the musical. That's what it's called. Scientology the musical.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There's porcupines going on there that I need to expose. But yes, if they come up with the bushfires, I'll be all over that. Absolutely.
Cool. Just don't go all over the bushfire because that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Hey, Mad Drop Bear. Question for me. Coming from a person who was formerly in, what are the types of things which either never sat well for you while in the cult, or things that got you questioning it? I think, the reason that the one thing that really stuck with me when I was in and on my way out was just the immense shift in focus on money and fundraising. It was just constant, like ideal orgs, IAS, buying materials. There was no, and I was on staff, right? And there was no focus on the service aspect of Scientology. Is like, I was there to help people. That was my button. That was the reason why I joined again as an adult kind of thing. And yeah, like literally every conversation you'd have with a senior, it's about selling things, sell books, sell services, get people to come and donate money. It's just constant. And that was like the worst. And then the really big one, like the cherry on the top, was the Ideal Org program, because I didn't see enough people in our field to require an Ideal Org. Right?
Yeah,
Like
right.
you go in the academy during the day and there's like maybe 10 people if it's busy. Like, why do we need this massive, gorgeous building with 50,000 square feet?
Yeah.
You just don't need it. And so it was the money. That was the one thing.
It's awful. It's
Yeah.
awful. Yeah.
And if you read a lot of the like people who have left Scientology but haven't necessarily spoken out on YouTube or whatever, although some of them have, you get this sense of the purpose of Scientology for them was completely different than what corporate Scientology was going towards, So,
Yeah, it's terrible.
yeah. Well, I hope that answers the question. Auditing Scientology, KC. I talked with a couple who went into a Dynetics tent. He asked them directly if they were Scientologists, and they denied it. Well, then they were lying.
Yep.
Straight up. The acceptable truth, as Scientology will call it, is if someone says, is Dynetics Scientology, they can accurately and honestly answer, no, it is not Scientology. Dynetics is not Scientology. Dynetics is Dynetics. It is
right.
owned by Scientology. It is run by Scientology. And the goal of Dynetics is to get you into Scientology. But
Yeah.
in reality, they are different things.
Yeah, it's the Dianetics.
Even if they do share some similarities.
So what if they came up and they said, is Dianetics related to Scientology? They'd have to say yes, or?
Well, to be not lying, yes. But one thing, and I will say this may come as a shock to people, sit down if you're standing up, because this is going to be very shocking. Scientologists lie a lot.
Oh, no shit. Oh my gosh.
I'll give you a minute to digest that fact that I just broke on the news here. Yeah, Scientologists lie a lot. So
even the term acceptable truth is just like, acceptable truth, like what?
it's acceptable.
Terrible, isn't it? It's just so terrible.
Yeah.
An acceptable lie, It's like...
Yeah, it's just something that the public will believe and be okay with, essentially, right?
From the
and
planet,
What's that?
From the most ethical people on the planet.
Well, you have to recognize too, though, T, that ethics is about the greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics, and this is a really important thing to go over, and for people to understand why Scientologists can tell these acceptable truths or do these things, because to be the greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics, if you're helping Scientology in any way, that is the greatest good, because it is the greatest thing.
It balances
and so
it cancels
it
it
just
out.
justifies so much, so much.
It's the whole universe, not just mankind, not just on the planet, but like on the whole universe.
It's not just the universe, it's the future of the universe.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it is so big. And there's not a lot of attention is given on the policy keeping Scientology working, number one. But if you ever want to, like, the mindset of what a really hardcore Scientologist is like that's the policy letter that just lays out the extreme nature and deep belief, and the reason why people do this. It's just paraphrasing, it says this is the first chance we've had to get out of the mud, and if we don't do it now, we may never get another chance again.
Yeah.
Like,
sorry, did you say, is that KSW, did you say?
Yeah, keeping Scientology working, policy letter number one. There's a whole series, but number one is like the one that you read over and over and over again.
Yeah, they get you to read that at the end of every course as well, don't they? Or
the start of every course.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's the very first policy letter on every single course in Scientology Academy.
Yeah.
You have to learn verbatim the 10 points of keeping Scientology working. You have to spend 2 hours confronting the policy letter upside down. I forget what part of I think it might have been, I think it's on the PTSSP course. Yeah. Oh yeah.
What do you mean? What does confronting it upside down? I've
Oh.
got some going on in my head. Is this doing a handstand against the wall and reading it like that?
Okay,
Or
let me clarify.
down at it?
Because
Like,
I'm picking up what you're putting down. No, you are not upside down. The policy letter is upside down. And the only reason for that is so you're not reading it. It's just you're supposed to confront it.
And how do you confront it? By shouting at it, or
Well,
like,
it's TRs. So it's it's TR0. It's just you just sit there and you just confront it, and you can't twitch, you can't yawn, you can't move. And you have to be able to do that for 2 hours straight.
what? So you
Yeah.
okay, right?
Have you not heard of this before? Confront drills?
No, I know all the TRs, but not with a policy letter.
Yes.
Are you saying you have right? Okay, right. Let me just get this clear, right? So you got your KSW thing, right? And you have to turn it upside down and face it and look at it without twitching and stuff for 2 hours.
This is correct.
What?
Yeah.
That is wild. That's wild. I don't. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, it's almost as crazy as telling us an ashtray to stand up and sit down.
But that's like, so I've very deeply gone through, or still continuing to go through each TR level and dissect it and look at it from different, like a psychiatrist's point of view, from hypnosis techniques, stuff like that. I don't understand that one with a piece of paper. Like, I don't know. That's just.
Yeah. So I guess the idea is that you have to, like, any kind of reactions that you have, you can't have them towards KSW or something like that. I don't know.
It's control. The whole of the TRs is all about controlling.
No.
You know, obviously, but then, and also accepting and giving abuse, and also
absolutely
submitting to the control, and with the moving people about and stuff like that. Like, it's just, yeah. I've started to try and do, another one of my projects is a series called Operating Trance, so OT, Operating Trance. And I did the first episode, was the history of Hubbard's history with hypnosis. But I want to go through each thing. Like, I want to go through how Dianetics itself, the book, is hypnotic. And then go on to the TRs, go through the OT levels and everything, and dissect them. Even his some of his lectures, to show that the pacing in his voice, the tone and things like that, how it is hypnotic and how it puts you into a trance-like state, and how, like, really breaking it down, because it really, really fascinates me. But I think it's important for people to people under the radar and stuff to see that what is actually happening to them. This is not, we're not just doing this because, we hate Scientology and we want to destroy your religion. We're actually, for me anyway, like, I see it as the most sophisticated mind control operation in the world, and it's so morally wrong, and it should be illegal. The misuse of hypnosis in this way should be illegal. And I had a conversation outside the org with a Scientologist. He was coming back from going around handing out leaflets in people's houses, around housing estates and stuff. And I said to him, like, but he said, will you listen to a concept, will you just listen to a thing? He goes, yeah, okay. And I said, well, what about if, when you're doing the TRs and stuff and you're sitting there, what if it's actually you being hypnotized and desensitized and conditioned? And he said, oh, no, it can't be hypnotism, because I've learned all about hypnotism, and you have to give consent. It won't work if you give consent, and if you don't give consent.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's a hypnosis course that you do, or there's a lecture. I know there's a couple of lectures where Hubbard mentions hypnosis and stuff, but and he doesn't. Some of these lectures, he says things, it's almost like he's mocking them, because what he's saying is the opposite to what's going on. And he blatantly talks about the confusion technique and stuff like that. But anyway, it's that made me think, okay, that's what made me start looking into the hypnosis thing. I thought, okay, so you need consent. Maybe I'm wrong. And then I looked into it, and then there's covert hypnosis, You know, there's covert techniques. There's, you know, the whole MK Ultra thing, the whole like loads of all the black magic and stuff like that. And I, you know, went down that rabbit hole, and boy, it's a it's a deep hole.
It's
But
never ending, I assure
very,
you.
very
Yeah.
interesting, very, very sad. It makes me very sad that this is going on.
Yeah.
You know?
TRs particularly are so insidious. One thing I've had to notice about myself from TRs and in my recovery is I was just able to and willing as well to say anything to anyone, whether I should or not, or have anything said to me. So my external boundaries were completely destroyed, as well
Yeah,
as my respect for other people's boundaries.
yeah, yeah,
Like I would just ask people the most blatant questions
yeah,
that I should not be asking, right?
yeah,
And it throws
yeah,
them off. And it was okay with me until I realized that, oh, I probably shouldn't be doing that, you know, and I should be getting permission. I should checking in like, hey, how do you feel about talking about this, you know, and kind of seeing what they say before just diving in, you know, head first into, oh, tell me about that horrible thing that just happened to you.
yeah.
Because to
And
me, that was
yeah,
my normal life. Like you just gave up information and you had no problem being asked it, right?
yeah. And I think as for me, I was raised, I wasn't taught about boundaries or certain morals, sexualized from a very young age, you know, all of that sort of thing. Wasn't supported with education or anything like that. And going through all of these things and the TRs and learning, and it actually made me have a lot of self-realizations. Like also with my ADHD, I overshare a lot, and I would kind of blurt out inappropriate questions, you know, being inappropriate all the time. And so going through all of this and meeting people that also have kind of like, I mean, I know it's nowhere near the same as what I've been through, because you know, TRs and then indoctrination goes on from a very young age. Like I believe I've heard of people doing TRs from the age of 4 to 6, you know.
Yep.
The first 10 years of my life was beautiful, you know. I had a very loving father and stuff, but it's just you're completely right with the boundaries, and also the auditing, you know. And it's taking away, Miriam Francis says it perfectly, it's disconnecting the brain from the body. So when you're a child or even an adult, you get that horrible feeling in your tummy when something's wrong. You're taught to ignore that, you know, or that you've done something to make that happen, which is what makes it so incredibly dangerous for children. And that's one, you know, obviously one of the main reasons why I want to try and help. I just wish I could do more. I do what I can with the time that I have, and but it just infuriates me every day. I've had nights where I can't sleep thinking about knowing that there's children going through that, you know. It's
I completely understand. And I understand the idea of wanting to do as much as you possibly can. It's really hard. Like I'm about to do a live on a story that I'm going to have a really hard time with.
okay.
It involves just the destruction of lives that has not been reported yet, that I learned about recently. And it's someone I knew.
Yeah,
And it's been the most challenging thing, not just to hear how these at least 2 lives plus the periphery, of course, family members and so forth, but just this sheer unwillingness and no desire of Scientology and the family in Scientology to help this person in a way that could actually help them. It's one of the most devastating things I've had to deal with since leaving, hearing about this. So, yeah,
well, you know,
it's
it's
hard.
I commend you for wanting to do that. And if you need any help with it or anything, if there's anything I could do to make it
It's
easier.
just a matter of just confronting it and just getting it out there. Cause I need to, what happened. And you know, I don't want to get into it in deep right now because I want to want to do it in a way that's respectful. But what was I going to say?
The way to do
Connecting
it.
Scientology to it,
Yeah. Okay.
showing, like really showing how this is not, it is the person's responsibility. It's their fault. They did it, but it's not their fault.
The coercive control, or like the
It's
way you're
it's just the
conditioned.
whole setup for like how Scientology would have dealt with it throughout this person's entire life. And
Yeah.
if they had just been given the opportunity to get the correct help, this situation would not have happened.
Yeah. And yeah, there's so many cases like that, you know,
Yeah.
so many lives wasted and so many lives lost, you know. I don't know if you've seen the list that I made. There's about at least over 300 names on it. And it's people that have lost their lives due to neglect of Scientology, so not getting the medical care that they should have got. There's unalivings, murders, there's all of them on there. And I actually went to Perth Org and rolled it out in front of their door. I think it was on on Hubbard's birthday, actually, because Hubbard's birthday is obviously the same day that Philip Gale took his life and the day that Ellie Perkins was murdered, you know. And I just wanted to make a big statement and, you know, let the people know inside, like, you know, you're there celebrating this dickhead's birthday and all of these people, you know, really he's responsible for their lives being taken, you know.
Yep.
Telling people when you're on the OT levels that you're not going to get cancer, or it's going to, you know, or you can audit it away and stuff like that. It's not okay. And when I get my PC fixed, when I get back from the UK, I'm actually doing another project is telling the survivors' stories, but I do it in like a kind of documentary way and a respectful way. I make music for it. There's a few up there. I did one for Whitney Mills. So I do the survivors, and then there's the preventable deaths. So I've got Whitney Mills, I've got Roxanne Friend, and then I've got a couple of the survivor ones as well. So that's something, because I really enjoy the editing. It's very, very time consuming, but they're old stories that need to be kept alive. I think it's important, you know.
Absolutely.
Do you know about Ashley Shana, who died at Gold Base? She was 16.
I don't know.
I've got a video about that. I won't talk about it on here because it's quite confronting. But that one, I've got that on my channel as well. That was hard to research because all the news articles are disappearing from the internet, especially in Australia as well. We used to have a reporter, Brian Seymour. I don't know if you must have heard of Brian Seymour. So Australia actually done the most media, the most coverage on Scientology out of any other country. And he disappeared, you know, when he did a 10-part series called Black Ops, and the day before it was going to air, so he went over the flag. I think he did like interviews with Tommy Davis. It was like, it revealed a lot of stuff. And the day before it was going to be broadcast in Australia, it got pulled and he disappeared. And I believe that they threatened him legally.
Oh yeah, I bet.
I've got the series.
You have this whole series?
Yeah.
Can you send it to me?
Hell yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's on my computer though. So I have to like
okay, everyone, we got to get our PC fixed. I'd love to see it. Yeah. I mean, I think it's important.
It needs a motherboard. Like I need a whole new computer. Like, but there's no point getting like I've got the whole, you know, the box thing that goes in and all of that. But what happens is it gets the 3 long beeps and the blue screen of death. But sometimes it will start up and it will work for like 10 minutes and then it will switch off, and it's just
we're not going to diagnose your computer here.
But I'll get someone to come and fix it when I get back from the UK and I can start saving money again. So
okay.
And then I can send it to you.
Yeah, I would love to see it, and obviously I will keep it safe. But
yes,
it's really important to tell people stories, and this is why I want to keep doing this on YouTube and tell people stories and get back to get back to the way it used to be, where it was a bunch of people sharing their stories and supporting each other. That's my goal. So I can see that's your goal, as well as to expose and confront the bullshit that is Scientology.
Yeah. And I think also helping the smaller channels build and get more awareness in different countries and around the world. And, you know, I look back on the anonymous movement, and I don't think it's ever going to happen again. I mean, they were made mainstream news and everything, but we need to build more people and more awareness, I think, because it is achievable. I do believe that it is achievable to stop the abuse in Scientology. Absolutely.
We just have to inundate the internet with all the stories, and, you know, at the very least, we'll stop people from joining. And that's kind of my goal. It'd be great if people got out, but my goal is to stop people from joining.
Yeah. And provide a safe place for people if they want to get out as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we're at about an hour and a half now. We should probably take off. I think I need to take Raz out for a last pee walk, but it was really good to chat with you. I'm really happy to have someone like you making some really good content and
Thank you.
Sharing the truth.
And if there's anyone out there, just say last words. If there's anyone out there in Australia who would like to get involved, especially in Perth, please reach out to me. My email is perthaudit@gmail.com. I would love to have some help. We have someone in Sydney, we have someone in Melbourne. There are actually quite a few protests coming up. There's one tomorrow in Sydney outside the Sydney Ideal Org. It's been the first protest there, I think, since Anonymous, a very long time.
Oh, wow.
So 16 years. And it's a very small channel called D5. I think Afila, she did drop the link in my channel, but I'll put it in the description afterwards. Yeah, we need some more voices down under, please. And if you're not able to join in down under, then just please share our lives, share our channels, and get the word out there, because it is a huge, you know, it's the headquarters for the whole of Asia, and you know, there's a lot of people. And even actually, well, this is the argument people say in Australia. Sorry, tangent.
Don't feel sorry. This is fine. Keep talking.
There's only 1,500 members or whatever in Australia, and it's like, but those people matter. Every single person matters, you know.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Like, that's what I get. Oh, why do you care? Why aren't you fighting this cult? Why aren't you fighting that cult? You know, why aren't you fighting Scientology? That's my, you know, it's
well, people who say that kind of stuff usually aren't the ones who are fighting.
Yeah.
So
and I think the reason why Scientology kind of really irks me as well is that conditioning and brainwashing is so deep that I can't remember who it was that said it. It might be Steve Hassan. Said that it takes a minimum of 12.5 years to deprogram from it, obviously depending how long you've been in. So it is the most embedded brainwashing, you know, and that's really disturbing. So jump on board, guys.
Jump on board, and if you're in Canada, reach out. We have lots of things we're doing too. So
some leaflets and distribute them where you are, just for awareness. Like there's small jobs, there's big jobs, you know.
And alternatively, like and subscribe. And I imagine you probably have a buy me a coffee or something way to support you financially, so you can pay for all these leaflets. But yeah, that's another way to help.
Yeah, I've got a link tree and stuff. I'm not sure what's going on with my buy me a coffee, but I've got PayPal and things like that. I don't like to ask for money, but yeah, you know, every little helps, and everything goes into. Also, I'm trying to I'd love to go over to Sydney and cover the stuff there, and scope out somewhere to put a big billboard and get in touch with Phil. That would be amazing. There's just so many projects on the go, but yeah, feel free to email me anytime. I'm usually pretty good back to people. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. We will talk again soon. For everyone on the replay crew, hello. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.